and welcome my behalf. My name is Pekka Niskasaari from Forum Virium Helsinki, innovation company of Helsinki City, and I'm here representing our project where we are as partners, CircularPSP, and I'll briefly inform you about the activity we have here. And also this information and the webinar will be recorded and available on the project website. Some basic issues, if you need to have using the features of Teams, please go ahead. There are some useful features if you need. Like said, the event will be recorded, and there will be possibility to ask questions. You can ask them via chat, or you can later on send email to me. Details are mentioned in the last slides or on the project website, which is circularpsp.eu. Also, I kindly remind you that if you want to stay informed about the project, please go to our website and check the details there. And if you are a provider, I mean a software house, expert, it's recommended to register in the matchmaking platform that you will find also in the project website. And the matchmaking platform is for you to find the partners or be a member of consortium offering services. And the objectives of this meeting is to understand about the project scope, about the PCP process, and what kind of offerings there are for the suppliers to participate. And note also that you can send your questions in chat, both in English or Finnish, or even ask in the at the event in Finnish language. And then some agenda points: welcome, introduction, aim and scope, tender process about this PCP process overall, and then questions and answers and next steps. And like said, here me on the left from Forum Virium, I'm running this project as a Finnish partner. And then we also have a virtual member here, Georg Vogt, coordinator from Empirica, the whole project coordinator, and Georg will be participating via video. So let's go on.
Hello, my name is Georg Vogt from Empirica. I'm sorry that I'm not speaking live. It was simply that at this time I need to pick up my child. It was not planned this way. I apologize. I hope I will be able to join for the Q&A. Depends how it works out. In any case, Pekka is an experienced PCP expert, so he will be answer to the questions for the instrument and the challenge itself. With regard to the challenge, the CircularPSP project is an innovation procurement. So 8 cities came together, or 2 networks, Sweden and Slovenia, to procure one solution. And these cities are already advanced in circularity. They have done projects already, and they are pushing it within the administration. But they all recognize that they have a common challenge and that they need to accelerate the transition. It takes too much time, even with specialized departments. And how would it be for many other cities? Indeed, other cities are already interested. We only named 2 here, Amsterdam, Bonn, but on the website soon you will see how many organizations are already pick up on our approach. Hence, it is interesting for any supplier to provide us with a solution, as there will be many people watching. What are we offering? 5.64 million in R&D funding, which will be spent in a competitive procedure, offering money to multiple suppliers to provide us with a solution to the problem we are going to describe. problem we see, or let's zoom out for a bit further out. We are talking in principle about sustainability. Yeah, and there are two dimensions. There's the complexity, and there is. Can I move this? I cannot move the way where the form is. I apologize. And how far we've progressed. So electricity is basically upgrading the grid. Yeah, it's not complicated. I mean, obviously it's organizationally complicated, but we're doing it all the time. Yeah? It's mostly solved, conceptually solved. It's a technology issue which just needs to be implemented. Mobility, it's a substitution. We replace one car against other cars. Yes, it impacts on the electricity grid and so on, but we've basically solved the problem conceptually. Yeah? We know what to do. In terms of heat, we also know what to do, but the problem is much more complex regarding the organizational part, as there's a lot of legacy. You know, many buildings, different buildings, they all have issues, they all need to be touched. It will take time, it is complicated. But when it comes to circular economy, we're talking about a fundamental revolution. Yeah? It's like digitization. Stuff changes. We need to make all people think in a different manner, and through the project we are conducting, we are talking particularly about municipal staff and their operation, the procurement they are conducting on a day-to-day basis. So what problems do the cities have in transitioning? Well, one is organization. Yeah? Even the leading cities represented in this project do not have enough capacity. Yeah? They need to go to all departments, to all units and so on, to kind of sow the seed of circularity and make people consider the R strategies and so on to progress. They alone will not be enough. There's also the issues of local suppliers being able to respond to that. Then it's about information. Now, we get more and more case studies, some of you probably are providing them as well, of what you could do. The issue is, as always, getting access to it and understanding it. Yeah? And what does matter in my circumstances? What does matter in my environment? And finally, operation. We're talking about staff, municipal staff, which might have no understanding yet of the concept. They suddenly need to change the way they've been working maybe for 20 years. So you need to make this change operational. They need to be able, they need to be provided with tools which make it possible for them on a daily basis to act confidently, because if they can't act confidently, they will not be putting themselves on the line into risk and remain with a linear model which they are well aware and know the risk of. So our approach to it, the problem we are going to describe and the solution we are going to propose is a platform underpinned with AI taxonomy with natural language processing to support cities, civil servants and local economies. When I mean solutions to propose, I immediately revise this a little bit. It is not for us to provide the solution, it is for you to provide the solution. It's just the concept we are seeing as a potential solution. A few more words for circularity. If you're well aware, then you can grab a coffee for a minute, but if you're coming from IT sector, maybe bear with us a little bit. Basically the fundamental concepts of circularity. Today, we are here. We are using stuff, and most of it goes into the landfill. Some of it is being recycled. Yeah? A fraction is being recycled. But you see from the graphic that basically there's much more. What you see here are the so-called R strategies that you can basically maybe not use. Maybe you could use differently. Maybe you can use less. And then you could reuse, you could repair, and so on. All these strategies should become part of the daily work of any municipal staff and ultimately the local economy, in that they approach a problem which they are given through all these lenses in the right order. Yeah? Not to say I need something, I go to the procurement department and they buy something new, but rather maybe I need less, maybe I can use something I already have, maybe I can repair something we have in stock, and so on. So it's a mind shift of buying less, and maybe this is the second element, that some of the things I buy, if I need to buy, I consider them rather a service than a product, because products directly go to waste, but a service maybe can be moved on to someone else. Also the idea of sharing and so on, which is not properly reflected in the R strategies here. However, this issue could be very easy. Yeah, it can be immediately applicable. It's substituting one against the other, easy, but it could be hard or it could be impossible. And I, as a municipal staff with little experience on circularity, do not know. Yeah, it depends on the entire environment around me. What I already know, the value chains locally accessible to me, the city strategy, and so on. So I, as a staff member, need to consider more. Suddenly, yeah, I cannot just buy something. I need to think about it, and this means I need help. Excuse me. Apologies. So I need help. Someone needs to help me. In case you wonder that something is covered by the video here, the full slide deck and the recording will be shared with you after the meeting. Okay, so we know what we need to do. We know what we need to offer. What kind of instrument are we going to use? This is now a short introduction into the instrument of pre-commercial procurements. I know Finland is quite advanced innovation procurement, so some of the ideas are not new to you, but maybe the European context is slightly different. So we are procuring R&D services. We want development, we want something innovative. It can build on background, on side ground, whatever, but it's ultimately an innovation. And the benefits for you are that you get an opportunity to gain leadership in a new market. It is most definitely a new market because we have done extensive research into the current market situation already for the proposal and during the past months as well. So we know there's nothing like that on the market. It is definitely new, and through the representation of the suppliers, procurers, you know there is demand. Which are the procurers. Yeah. So not only during the project, but beyond the project, you know that there is a reason to invest, as you can commercialize it afterwards. It is not only an R&D project to do something in a EU-funded project, but it is something for you, for your business to maintain and keep up. It is a tool for innovation. Obviously, it's R&D, and we do it in stages so that you don't have to go all out. You can develop it progressively. You will still write a proposal with the first idea. You will have a few months to design the solution further. You will have phase 2 in which you test the solution with users, and then there will be a phase 3 where you go out in the world and work it with cities under real world conditions. So progressively, you will get deeper and deeper feedback for your solution, so you can improve it and advance upon to ultimately, be market ready. Yeah. It is under risk-benefit sharing under market conditions. What does it mean? You keep your IPR, and the procurers gain limited access. Limited access means that for the duration after the project, you provide them with access to the solution so they can keep using it, and provided you commercialize it, your product, that the IPR remains entirely with you. Only in the case that you don't act on your intelligence, on your results, would they fall to the city, so that the city are free to act on it in case their investment, because they're investing money, has not resulted in a product they can buy later on. Yeah, and you will be interacting very closely with procurers from 8 countries and will gain visibility on EU level. The project has already raised eyebrows, as I said, raised interest, and we are quite confident this will proceed. With this, I pass on to Pekka. Thank you very much. He will introduce our ambition, our problems, and the envisaged building blocks a bit more detail, and later provide insight into the instrument. Thank you very much. And if not now, we speak later at the presentation at the tender kickoff or during a webinar presenting you with guidance on how to tender and so on later this year.
Okay, thank you, virtual Georg, for the presentation, and I go forward here and defining and explaining a little bit more about the PCP process and the actual tendering process. And like Georg said, you have plenty of time to participate. So being in this presentation or any other presentation doesn't give you a advanced role. The tender process will be open for everybody, and that will be announced later on this year. So, and then about the details, what we actually want from this process is we want to have solutions that cover all departments, sectors, value chains. We don't want to have a specific solution. Like Georg explained, where we want to really focus is different area strategies, how to help them ease the activity in there in terms of and the viewpoints of procurement people. Then enable anyone independently from a starting point that the solution would be easy to use. It doesn't need to be a cutting-edge technology in all details. What we want to have is also curating circular economy expertise. That means that there will be a fluent conversation and initial process of developing your offerings as a provider. That means that swinging with existing AI models is not what we actually are willing to have. And then, of course, like in all EU projects, you want to have a scalability for the target audience, all the cities, and have a long-term vision. And that's really important point. User groups, if we look about the solutions, who would be the ones using the package, there will be intermediaries, which are individuals with expertise and responsibility for the circular economy across the organizations. And then the ones, agents who build capacity within the departments, but any municipal staff who would advance circular economy in their own department and across the city with varying levels, and any local business that could deploy and supply the local circular economy. And then, of course, bidders of for the local procurements. This is, I think, one of the most important pictures. I will slide all the details up and running. Sorry for that. Yes, now. If you look the platform specification, the rough details or the high-level topics are here presented. There will be CE experts, viewpoint, priority design, circular mission, viewpoint, and then daily work, which is for all users. And for example, here's the API connections are welcome. They are kind of, let's say, conduct necessary steps for a strategy. I call these details more like informative or educative features. And then on the CE expert side, designing the CE mission, which is kind of interpret and transform different CE strategies from other points or use cases. And then after the process, when you have informed or received information and education how to implement circular economy in procurement process, it's really important that we monitor and measure the impact. And that's also a challenging part, but it's a lot of requirements from the city space to have this kind of measurement functionality. But what the solution is not, it's not a procurement platform. So this is one of the biggest questions I have received during this half year in Finland. So we are not competing against any file system or procurement process system. This is an additional supplementary helping platform toolkit to ease the process in procurement. So, and here are the desired innovations that we hunt for is like Georg mentioned there, the AI is in different role, an important role by reading taxonomies with NLP and so on. So this will make the translating different CE strategies and use cases understandable in any language, at least on those languages which are the procurers representing in this project. And of course, there's an organizational viewpoint, which is on helping the procurers to access this information, to act with this information that we call the public service platform. And then, of course, we have circular missions and workflows. If you don't have any workflow or your workflow is missing, this might help you to create guidelining and help you to see the similar cases in other areas. And of course, training and education is part of the platform delivery. Without this part, no platform is usable. About data analytics, some key points here from the web point. We see that there is an integration to public tender platform statistics, possible open data. These are sources that the system should be able to read. And on the city level, meanwhile, there is, of course, some open procurement information. Mainly we focus on anything openly available. And then, of course, strategies and any documents related to circular economy would be an input material for the platform. Core features will be taxonomies, NLP, and CE intelligence kind of brainstormed with the AI. And the output, we have a case summaries, local translation, indicators, and details to follow up later on. And like I said, these all are draft topics, and they will be focused more on the tender documentation, which will be published end of the year. So no hurries, and I think we will have more specific PowerPoints also on the autumn time. And finally, this data analytics is, of course, translated to workflows in some way. Let's see how that innovation will happen. And then platform itself, it should be providing access to data, insights, and CE missions. This is the operational and organizational viewpoint. And most of these features are something which are also in the existing procurement platforms, but maybe they have been touched pretty much in a limited way. But we definitely looked department level, staff level, and then visibility, co-creation, networking level. And it should be advanced level and basic level. And of course, as a user viewpoint, there are city users and business users. So we finally hope that this platform will be a solution that will help both sides of the procurement. And some technical requirements, which will be, of course, later on defined more. It should be scalable, cloud-based or city server-based modularity, interoperability, multi-language support. Like about the workflows, some easy example on that. If the user searches use case, system or the platform will kind of explain and open certain use cases. There you can pick CE strategies, and then you have a kind of workflow modeling available from the system. And then the key issues in their workflow requirements are that they are clear, status must be clear, and that they should solve the barriers that we currently have. So all this information for the tender documentation is collected via the tendering process and two-way co-creation. And then approach up to you. They can be flow, chat lists, whatever tools available on the platform to use it in the clever way. And final reminder that the usual end user from the municipal people are the kind of normal users, and in there are also the expert users. Okay, the idea on the whole PCP process is that step by step there will be kind of best players awarded, and you have tools to develop the solution further on. But this is multi-level, three-phase solution, means that there won't be any kind of fixed winners in the first stage. You have to be clever and capable through the whole process. There are a lot of benefits on the PCP process. The pre-commercial procurement process is one of the EU funding instruments, and I have been running a couple of PCP processes as a co-driver or main project manager, and I can tell that this is really accelerating the innovation. And compared to traditional procurements, there are many details. Like in here, we represent a joint procurement, a big group of buyers compared to individual procurement. The high degree of innovation is coming from that co-creation multi-level procurement process. And there's actual prototype development that in the final stages and mid stages, you will be able to represent your solution and it can be tested. Competitive development. There are several suppliers all the time. And finally, there will be a couple of winners. So I think this is also a really good point that we don't create here a monopolistic platform. Instead, we want to accelerate the innovation level. And the IPR access is also really nice that it's risk and benefit sharing. So mainly companies or providers own the IPR. And I think this is also good if you want to scale and replicate your solutions. And then special legal framework is Horizon Europe and WTO compared to national public procurement rules. This means that we have more flexibility in the way, but also a strict ruling with these paces. And then development in multiple paces, like I mentioned, is a strong plus point. Here's more visualized the pace process. What kind of stages there are in the pre-commercial procurement process. First of all, we will launch a call for tenders. This will be happening end of year. And then phase number 1 is, like you see the budget here, there will be selected 6 suppliers. Next stage is 4, and finally there are 2 winners. And compared to innovative solutions procurement, actually we end up to phase 3. So after that stage, cities are able to launch all their own innovative procurement solutions, the procurement processes if they want to have. And on the third phase is involving a lot of testing and so on. And what happened in some other earlier PCP processes is that actually the buyers group, or the buyers who are here as the main procurers, they will have a prototype versions in used in reasonable amount of money, not high levels and so on. So you can start to test and implement the solutions right after the process. But when you want to move them in the real use, like a process use, that requires a separate procurement. Okay, there are some criteria for the offerings or the providers. Tender is open for all type of operators. So you can be one company or legal entity or group of them. So that's not a problem. So that's why we actually offering on the CircularPSP.eu, we will offer a matchmaking platform, which will ease you to find partners for this specific process. You can call there and let your details in, and the others can search possible candidates from there. And then generally, the minimum 50% of the funding should be coming from the other sources than compared to this funding instrument. So the group of companies or entities must have some kind of running business on or R&D operations. You can't do it totally from this funding. And like I said, the participation of any of these sessions won't give a condition for submitting a tender. So that's a separate process. And then, like normally in any EU process, electronic submission of the tenders will be opened later on this year. Like there you see that November this year will be started, and English is the official language. IPR sharing if suppliers do not exploit results. So there are different rules on there and the instructions included, of course. Yeah, and then contract awarding. Of course, we have one lead procurer, which is also taking care of the contracts and the payments and so on. So it's easy for the applicants or the ones who are offering and selected. And then each specific contracts in each phase will happen. We will monitor the providers, and the criteria is with milestones and deliverables. So they are requirement for the payments and successful completion permits entering the next phase. And then IPR rights are also mentioned in the separate documents. And this is, of course, in the phase of selected participants. Okay, then actually the questions and answers. I think there will be some on the online project website. And if you ask specific questions that come to email or the project site, we will publish them if they are not including any business secrets. Will you checking the if you want to have represent your questions online, please go ahead. Bart has mentioned in the chat that you can now ask, and I'm answering with my best skills for the things, and if they are really legal, then I can maybe consult later on for those details. I can see it. Yeah.
This is Timothy with Combined DAO. So my first question is, what are some of the ideal systems that you would want to integrate with to provide either data or workflow information? You said quite clearly you're not trying to compete with existing procurement systems, so I take it we want to integrate tightly.
Yeah, exactly. There are, with this buyers group we are representing here, of course, nationally there are different solutions available. Like in Finland, we have a Claudia, which is kind of most common procurement platform. And they, of course, provide APIs also for there. And then we have open data in Finland, which is available in certain platforms. And I think we will publish these on the tendering process. We have not specified any number X or type X of APIs or platform types or solutions that should be included. This was only because we want to achieve the best possible outcome of the solution, since we know that there are a lot of these procurement platforms in Europe. Is this okay for you? Want to more details?
Yes, absolutely. I understand we're looking to generalize and understand the art of the possible first before we move into integration with any specific systems. Got it.
Yeah. Thanks. And then I think there's Patricia Okello. You have one question in there. You want to?
Yeah, my question. Hi. Hi, Peter. Hi. My question is, will you provide procurers with the current research results, which helped you to develop the project? Because I think it's like a huge, it's like an overall topic, and there are specific solutions in the EU countries. So do we have to do the research work as service providers ourselves, or can you provide us with the status quo on research on your side?
Yeah, that's a complicated and wide question. So I think formulating the tender documentation now is it's a long journey. So that will start on more on autumn time, and we kind of hope that having much information in there, kind of present that openly, but we want to have a focus and what kind of pre-information and what kind of topics we want to cover with the platform. So it makes the providers kind of possible to offer the solution. But if we can't put all the details in yes and no type of lists, since this is supposed to have a lot of innovation value. So this is not a normal procurement that you fill in the details and put the price tag in there. So you have to open up and offer some innovative details against the requirements.
Okay, thank you. And the other question is, you said that you're not, the plan is not to be or to design another procurement platform. So does that mean that the platform you're looking for doesn't offer what regular procurement platforms offer concerning when the public sector buys anything? Is that right?
That's right. This is more kind of additional informative, educative, supportive platform. since one of the key rules on the PCP is PCP process overall is that we create something new and innovative with the providers like software companies and so on, not kind of create a monopolistic competition against the existing platforms.
Okay, thank you.
So it's a little bit hard to explain, but if you think about this this is originally the idea of I called it myself a procurement toolkit.
Okay.
Maybe that's a correct word.
Yeah. And the last question, sorry,
please,
is how do you address the problem on procurement on the city level? Because when I think about the procurement law, which you have like at the amount, let's say 500,000 to purchase something, the cities can have like their own regulations, and after a certain amount, it is EU law. How do you address that as a topic?
Yeah, basically we try to focus on this kind of, let's say, national levels that of course maybe we will touch some way the EU higher level in the platform usability or platform user groups or focus groups, but meanwhile it's more like helping people or the procurers to find out the criteria how the circular economy is taken into consideration while you are, creating the procurement tender documents. So I think this is the key point, not how big procurements you are doing. And for example, Forum Virium, as a company, we buy a lot of agile piloting per year. So we usually put them openly up, even they are not filling in the national procurement limits, since we hope that the more companies will see that, and we also learn from the companies. So this is, of course, nationally different systems and solutions that, and the procurers act by the law, but the implementation are a little bit different. But on our level, our procurement is going with the TAD platform, of course, since this is high volume procurement, PCP itself, but the results should be beneficial for let's say, all kind of procuring levels.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, if that was all, like said, you can send an email to me later on, or any of the project people or contact details on the project side, and we will try to find answers for you. Let's go forward. There are a couple of details like next steps, which are timetable issues. And like you see here, we have this open market consultation events, which there are also international event coming in a couple of days. And you are really able and free to join in there. And you can check these international and upcoming OMC events from our website. And there you go to CircularPSP.eu and events. You will find the details, and you can register there and go also for all these sessions if you like. And there are nationally different viewpoints, of course, and you are really welcome there. And then our matchmaking platform is now open, so you can use that. That is also available from the website. And there's a procurer survey, which we hope that you would do it also in the website. It's helping us and the project to understand your requirements more better. And then there's a preferred partner interaction, which means that there might be events for all the European level, but also at least in the national level, where we share and talk about the project targets and also results. And this preferred partner is for the kind of procurement viewpoint or intermediaries viewpoint. And then finally, the tender is open. It will be opened November and close to January. So there's 3 months time to leave the first initial offer. And there is the study times that we do for the different stages. And like I said, there will be a long time to develop solutions, March 26. So 2026 will be the final phase. And then there are different sessions upcoming. You will find them on our website. And really important is you can participate as an expert or any legal entity as an offering party or deployer or solution maker. So go for the matchmaking and find your partners. And I think that's an easy way. It takes 5 minutes, no longer of that. And then this procurers answer survey, and then there's a preferred partner, and I can see from the list that there's Mika from Mika Hänninen. Yes, you are accepted already as a preferred partner, so you can apply as an organization or any city to be a preferred partner via email. And all these partners who have sent me an email are listed already. So I will get back to you on the mid-August time for the further actions. And meanwhile, Finland is sleeping in the end of June and maybe only July. So don't get panic. And finally, my details. There's the project, social media. We have a website. We have a Twitter media. We have LinkedIn pages, Mastodon pages. And if you look for the project information in Finnish, and you want to share with other Finnish cities, for example, go to fvh.io/CircularPSP, and there's the Finnish content and definition of the project. And there are my details. On the midsummer, I will go for the summer vacation, but you are happy to and very welcome to send me email also during the vacation time, or drop a message to phone or call me. So I hope that this event has been a brief opening for the project as a city or as a provider. Share the message for the other partners or other cities or expert organizations. And please follow, since we have a massive budget. We hope that we have something ready 2026 with the companies. And we really hope that we can enhance and help the circular economy in procurement for the cities and municipalities. So I thank you all and hope a warm, not too warm, but warm summer and sunny days and nice vacation time. Thank you.